Good afternoon, everyone. I'll stand here. I don't want to block the screen. All right, so I just push the green button to start. All right, well, thanks everyone for having me here. I mean, you guys have done a phenomenal job. Orlando, thanks again for the pleasure of having me here. So, I guess the theme of today's talk that I was given was really just connecting and empowering the next generation of innovators, which are all of you here. But first, I'd like to just start giving an overview of who Paper Excellence is. So we're a global leader in forest products. We manufacture pulp, paper, packaging, tissue, and wood products for consumers globally. We produce roughly 12 million metric tons of pulp and paper. We have about 17,000 employees globally, and we operate across 4 countries, the US, Canada, Brazil, and France. And something that I'm very proud of is that our energy use is 77% renewable. So we have a very little amount of fossil fuel or non-renewables that we're using in our fleet of companies. And we have roughly 51 facilities that would include our sawmills as well. We're the second largest softwood producer, softwood market pulp producer, third largest NBSK producer, and third largest producer of fluff pulp. So for those that are of you not familiar with fluff pulp, that goes into feminine hygiene products, adult diapers, and those types of things. We're also the largest market unbleached kraft pulp producer in the world. So our products, we have pulp. So we sell softwood, hardwood, and BCTMP, or bleached chemi-thermal-mechanical pulp, as well as fluff pulp. We make paper, so that goes into a lot of different type of packaging applications. We also are displacing quite a bit of plastic with the paper products that we make. So next time you go to a Subway or a Burger King, and the paper that you're using to wrap your burger or sandwich in, most likely it could be produced from one of our mills on the island. We also produce tissue and, as I mentioned before, wood products as well. So just from a pulp overview perspective, we have close to 9,000 employees, producing close to 9 million tons of pulp products annually. And here's our locations, spread across Canada, the US, Brazil, and France. Packaging overview, we have close to 5,000 employees globally, producing about 4 million tons of paper products. So again, spread across Canada and the US for paper and packaging manufacturing operations. Tissue overview, close to 500 employees, and about 100,000 tons of tissue produced. And mainly centered in the southeast US. So lumber, about 2,000 employees with 3.1 billion board feet. I'll probably have Arthur in the crowd there making sure he's checking my numbers there on the volumes there. Don't know where he's sitting. With locations mainly in Eastern Canada and Southeast US. Before I go there, I should also kind of mention maybe a shout out to Performance Biofilaments, which we have a joint venture with Mercer International, and I saw some of the representatives there, so thank you for coming out there. And we also do sell lignin from our Plymouth mill as well in the US. But again, this is our renewable energy content here, 77%. In terms of the amount of renewable energy that we use, so mainly from forest biomass and hydropower and things like that. All right, so the topic of today was really empowerment and connecting. So I'd like to just start out with the definition I usually go with when it comes to innovation. And what it really just boils down to, it's a new match between a need and a solution. Right? So the novelty in it can be the need or the solution or the new match. So the definition of innovation is quite broad, right? And I want people to kind of think about that. Innovation is quite broad. It's not that Nobel Prize-winning discovery. It's basically solving a pain point with a solution, or a solution that you develop. So what I really want to talk about today is that all of you here, all of the research and discoveries that you're doing here, you guys are the experts. We're entering an era where responsible business is going to be the new norm. Business as usual is no longer going to be acceptable. We're entering an era where the low carbon economy and clean technology is going to add tremendous value to our current economies. There's increasing recognition of externalities, the cost of doing business on another operation or another person or being. So there's things that are being implemented or are currently being implemented and in place already. Carbon pricing. BC just launched the new BC output-based pricing system just a few weeks ago. So those that have operating facilities have probably been firstly getting their fuel exemption certificates in to do all that. We're now getting emerging discussions around the value of biodiversity and environmental impacts. Social impacts, again, are key to what we do every day, and there's value to that. So what this really creates are new business opportunities, right? As we look at how people are valuing things differently. It's not just about the dollar anymore. There's inherent value in the environment. There's inherent value in people. There's inherent value in the community. There's also, developing markets, carbon markets, compliance, which, would be the carbon tax. And then there's a voluntary market, which is now emerging. So there's basically opportunities to actually create a tremendous amount of value by deploying carbon capture technology and sequestration, or embodying those environmental attributes of biogenic CO2 into products and other things. These are opportunities that you guys are the experts on. All of the materials that you're developing and the new biomaterials that you're pioneering. This is you guys. So the other part too is that we're undergoing a rapid pace of policy and legislation development right now. I think those of you that are at the forefront of it know that there's many changes to pulp and paper effluent regulations, things on carbon pricing, how we value the forest, how we value biodiversity. And along with that, the financial sector is really double downing on some of these things. So in Europe, there's a Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD, which is going to require disclosures by companies that are doing business in Europe. There's also the EUDR, which is the European Deforestation-Free Regulation, that will impact all the forest products producers and others that are actually importing into Europe. Or even if they're twice or third removed from that supply chain, they will be under this new regulation that will be set to come out at the end of the year. And this is all focused on making sure that the practices that we're undertaking are coming from forests that we're not negatively impacting or clear cutting and damaging the natural ecosystems. And then also I do want to mention that in the last few years we have really been focusing on UNDRIP, or the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, and it's our we definitely need to continue with consultation, but also developing real opportunities and working with our Indigenous partners, and not just a tokenism, but actually creating real opportunities and working with them closely. So what we're doing at Paper Excellence of empowering the next generation, we're working with, by offering scholarships. We have a well-established engineering and training program for those of you that might be interested. Hint, hint. We're also helping educate our community members where, we'll help work with them to educate them on financial tools and things like that to help them become entrepreneurs and develop new business opportunities. And we also provide a fund where we're supporting Indigenous women entrepreneurs in their ventures. And this is all part of doing good in the community that you operate in, doing good in the community that you're that you need. I also want to point out two examples that we have. So up in the northern Vancouver Island, the Otley chip plant, we're a minority owner of a chipping facility that takes some of the residual materials out in the forest, and we take that, repurpose it to make chips for our mills, but also creating hog fuel that we then use in our power boilers to generate clean electricity. And then I do want to point out one of our longest standing partnerships, Mystic, which is over in Saskatchewan. We have a 50-50 joint venture with Meadow Lake Tribal Council with Mystic Forest Management. And that's been a very successful model where I think there's mutually beneficial economic opportunities that we've been able to develop through that partnership, and it's a great model. So now I want to kind of jump into connections, right? So we talked about empowerment. You guys are the experts. You guys have everything you need. You have all the tools to be successful as the next generation of innovators. So this one goes back to BioAlliance 1.0. So this is a really good example of where industry, government, and academia have successfully collaborated and connected. So it was founded in 2017, and all of the BC pulp and paper companies were members. And the purpose of this BioAlliance was to identify, research, and deliver the best bet technologies for BC. So we have an active steering committee with consisting of government, industry, and academia. I'm going to point out some people. Stand up, please. Stefan Tack, Emma. And then we've got, I think we've got Marcelo from MyTax as well. Orlando, Richard, Doug, and then all of the industry members from Mercer, Canfor, West Fraser, Harmac, and I think the rest are Paper Excellence, so, and Human, yes, please. So we had a really great collaborative environment there where we've worked with university researchers, professors to explore different types of technologies and do some research. The high-level outcomes was that we leveraged the collective strength of the industry and the partners by working collaboratively in a world-class environment. And we accelerated the development of best fit bioproducts into pre-commercial stage. So I think a good example is Professor B. I think we're doing some great work right there on the RNG project there with our partners there as well. And one of the things that was also born out of this group was really the focus on lime kiln decarbonization, which then evolved onto a FP Innovations project, which received further funding from federal and provincial funding partners, and a great report was published, which really gave direction to the industry across Canada on what are the possibilities, the art of the possible of having a fossil fuel-free lime kiln, which is a crucial step to developing a net zero pulp mill in Canada and North America. So this is substantial. And I see Victor over there calling people out. And I also do want to mention that the collective power allowed us to leverage the investment that we made into this as an industry, as a province, and academia 24 times. That's amazing. It's something that we couldn't do alone. So this is where connection really is empowering, that we can do so much more together than we can as individual companies or as individuals. The value of the ecosystem. So really increase the collaboration with the pulp and paper sector. Although we're competitors, we have many common good projects that we can work upon and leverage that group expertise and push those things forward and help working with government to push in the right direction. This led to engagement of 12 applied researchers, postdocs, with support of BPI experts and FP Innovation staff. So really, I mean, the benefits to the pulp and paper sector is really developing this capacity here, you experts out here, is building that local capacity, which we're hopeful that you'll enter the industry and actually innovate alongside us. It also helps us, attract the best and brightest into the pulp and paper sector. I think that's key, right? Because we need to start replacing a lot of our aging leadership that needs to be replaced by the brightest of the minds that are sitting in this room here today. And also just fostering the relationship, leading to greater partnership opportunities. So as we progress these relationships further, we've now moved on to Biolines 2.0 with new sets of priorities, and our team is solidified after many, many years. Some of the outcomes as well is that some of the work from Biolines 1.0 led to some advancements on forever chemical-free oil and grease free coatings for paper and packaging, right? That can replace plastics. So some great outcomes for us as Paper Excellence. So, and other areas that we're also connecting with UBC as well is through the UBC energy reduction in mechanical pulping. So we have some few represented out here as well. And that's really created some high quality research solving real industrial problems, but it also has created some really great talent that has now entered Paper Excellence and other companies, and some of our star employees have directly come from this program. And we've also worked with UBC Chemical and Bioengineering, and we had worked with them on a capstone project to look at a low emissions pulping process, and that was a great way to engage a group of students and leverage their brainpower on a real world potential problem. So with that, thank you, and thanks again for having me. It was a pleasure, and we'll be chatting soon. Thank you.